Hey guys, welcome to the Scholar Online YouTube channel, the channel that is all about learning. Apologies again for being a couple of days late. I should have had this video out by yesterday latest, but you know, life is life and things happen. Here we are today, better late than never. We are going to continue where we left off last week. We are now doing part 3 of our landing page generator website that creates a landing page using artificial intelligence, using OpenAI API and Django to build a landing page. So people should be able to come into this landing page generator of yours and enter as minimal information as possible. Like, we're basically going to ask them what is your business and what does your business do? Just 2 questions. And they give us the answers to that, and we're going to go and generate an entire landing page with the content, images, and everything for that person. And they should just have a button that says download. And then when they click download, well, we're going to tell them, well, it costs about $70, and they can pay it right there, and then they can download HTML, and they are good to go. That's what we want to do. We're going to make it very, very simple, very, very easy to follow. So if you're new to this channel and you're following along with us, guys, remember to like this video. Just click the like button there at the bottom, and remember to subscribe. Smash that subscribe button, because it really helps our channel when you subscribe to our videos, making our videos more available to the next guys that want to learn how to write code with a Python Django. All right, and also at the bottom of the video that you're watching right there, just open up the description window. And if you hear me say, I'm going to link it in the description below, you're going to find the link over there. So everything that I talk about, if I show you a website, a link, you know, anything, I normally include those links in the description, and you will find it in there as well. So open up that description window. There will be timestamps as well. I will try to put in as much timestamps as possible. The timestamps just help you navigate through the different parts of the video so that you don't have to watch the entire video. You can just go back to the section that you wanted to watch. And if you just click on a timestamp, for example, it takes you to that part of the video every time. And then my contact information is also there. I've got my social media links and all sorts of things, but please do not send me emails with your error pages, because I never respond to those anyway. All right, so let's get learning with today's video. By the end of this video, we're going to have something that looks like this. So we're going to take it from that data breakup structure that we did last week. If you remember last week's video was a bit boring and my views were not as great, but that is a foundation. You can't do this kind of websites without the foundation. The foundation is getting the data structure right, getting the entities right. People will be surprised. 80% of websites that we build is just data structure. If you can structure the data properly, everything that comes after that is just simple. And then people will think, well, what you're doing is so simple, but no, it's because we got the foundation right. So what we did the whole of last week and a little bit of this week is just to get the model right and the data structure right for the kind of web, content that we want to generate. After that, you're going to start to see the content take shape. So by the end of today, you'll be able to be on this page where you can, this is AI generated content, by the way. We generated this via content. So we entered just what our business was and what exactly the business was about, and it generated for us, a landing page title and a description over there. And the rest of it, you can see it's still fake text because we haven't gotten that far, but we're gonna get to this point. But I'll show you how to get to this point. And if you can get to this point, your homework for today will be to generate the rest of it, which once you have seen how I did this, it's just actually the same process. But I need you to also practice these things at home, because that's how you learn. All right, so by the end of this video, we're gonna have this website, but it's built on basic Bootstrap. Okay, so later on, of course, we're going to upgrade from Bootstrap, but I wanted to just do this on a basic Bootstrap just to get the principles out so you can understand the principles of what we're doing. After that, then we're going to go into getting the elements to become more and more complex, and then hopefully by then the principles have landed. Okay, so let's get learning, and let's start with today's video or lecture. So let's continue where we left off last week, guys. I did give you a bit of homework. I hope you guys have done it. I was just going through the homework right now to make sure that everything is in order. Here we go. So there's 2 things that we discussed that you guys must do over the whole week that I gave you. And sorry, this video came a little bit late, but better late than never, isn't it? Last week when we had a discussion, we had done this website model halfway. I think I had only done this part of the model and I asked you to do the rest, but I gave you pretty much what you would need to be able to do the rest. So if you looked at the website sections, we looked at section 1. We added into the model the title for section 1, which is this what we call section 1 title. It was going to be a character field of maximum 200 characters, and I think that's sufficient for anything that will fit into a website title. We did a website description, which was going to be a text field of unlimited characters, and then we had a call to action, which would be a character field of up to 100 characters, and then finally we would have an image. All right, so this is what the section 1 would look like. This is the image that would go into section 1. This would be the title, this would be the description, and the call to action would finish with that button. And then in this note, I split all the different sections for you so you could see what else goes into the next section. Section 2, I remember telling you that you would need 3 different services. If you look at the services, you could do service 1 title, service 2 title, service 3 title, and then service 1 description, service 3 description. Or you could do what I asked and I told you guys, try and think around a sub model that is related to the website model, so that in that case you would not then be limited to only service 1, service 2, service 3 titles. This allows you flexibility in future. If, for example, you build a website and maybe you want to add on extra services or functionality for people to have more than 3 services. So let's say they wanted to do 6 services, because typically on a website you could fit these 3. Again, you could have another row and you could have a bigger website, and maybe you could charge more for that, right? So and you could even have unlimited services. So instead of saying let's keep a field open for all the possible services we could have per website, instead let's create a service model. So that's what I sort of hinted that you guys can do last week, and that's what I did personally, because you do have the option of saying service 1, service 2, service 3, title, description, and everything, and then maybe up to 9, and keep a window open for up to 9 different services, because I don't think a website will ever go above 9 services. Or you could do it like this, where we create a whole new model for website service, and in that website service you have a title, description, and an icon. So you have a title, a description, and an icon that would fit into these different places, so you could define all these things. And then what this does is that actually now then you could create these services as a model in itself with a related foreign key to website, which means when you create the service model, then you could create multiple services for the same website. This is really optional in my mind. If I think of a website, I think maximum would be 9. So you could just build 9, even though you don't have to fill all of them in at once. You could leave the other ones blank, but I chose to do it like this. And again, this is actually just optional. How you do this is up to you. If you did it the other way around, it's also fine. Actually, it's not a problem. Then the next part was the section 3. And section 3, as you can see, it just has a title, description, and an image, which is exactly what we did here. Then we had section 3, title, description, and image. It's just the same as what we have for section 1. All right, and then the last thing is a section 4, and section 4 also is your features. Remember, we're going to have multiple features. This also then brings forth what I was trying to say to you earlier on with the services, that when you do it with an extra model, you could have just 1 feature if you want, or 2 or 3. It's really up to you, and you could just have these as extra models to that model. You know what I'm saying? So for features as well, I built a separate features model, which has a title, description, an icon, and an image, because you can see over here you've got a title, a description, you've got an icon over there, and then you've got an image over there. So all of these will fit into the model, so that when you build this later on, you could build this. Again, if you're just catching up with us, this is lecture 3 of the series. What we're trying to do now here in this lecture is we're trying to break down a typical website into its data structure, okay, into a model, so that we can model it in a Python Django database or Python Django entity, so that later on we could define all these different variables inside of the entity, whichever way we like, and then you would have one person building different variations of a website using the same data structure. You understand? So we're trying to break down a website into its core data structure. That's what we're doing here today. Now, if you follow along, this is what my model now looks like. Okay, I've got the model, the base model website itself, and these are all the variables in here. If you're not quite sure what I'm doing, you know, this is a video, by the way. Hey, it's a video. You can pause at any moment, freeze and reread exactly what I've written here. Okay, you could pause and read through everything I've done, and I'll slowly go through it. You can pause and just make sure that you get everything that is in this model the way I've done it. Okay, and then if I go to the next model, this is how my next model looks like. You can pause this video right now and have a look at it and make sure that you have it the same way in your other model. And then the last one as well is over here. At any point, you can actually just freeze this video and have a look at it in more detail to understand exactly what I've done. The only new thing that I didn't talk about last week, which I've done, and you probably might have noticed if you're paying attention, is that I've got a new foreign key over here called profile. I didn't have this before and I didn't discuss this with you, but if you've done video tutorials with me in the past and you're quite familiar with Django, you'd understand why we have to have this profile related field in all of our models. Okay, the profile, I've built a profile model at the top. The profile model is a model that represents a user. Okay, I could have used the user, but I'm sort of using the profile to extend the user model in a way. Okay, so I've got the user model over there as a foreign key to the profile model. In fact, I should have had it as a one-on-one key and not a foreign key, because you're not gonna have one user having multiple profiles, are you? You could. Let me just think about this out loud while I'm doing this. No, you won't. You won't. Even if one profile could have multiple websites, you will not have multiple profiles per user. So let me go search for a Django. I'm just gonna Google this. One-to-one. I think it's a one-to-one. Hey. One-to-one. Let me just find the correct spelling here. Django one-to-one field. Okay, that's the model I actually want to use here. Okay, Django one-to-one field. It's this one here. So let's replace this one with the Django one-to-one field. There's a difference between a one-to-one field and a related field, and the main difference between a one-to-one and a related field is that with a one-to-one field, you can only have a one-to-one relationship, which means if you have a user, each user can only ever have one profile, and each profile can only ever be related to one user. That's really useful because you can go in both directions when you're trying to find the relationship between a user and a profile. And for situations where when I create this website and I want to use every time someone creates a user, that user needs to have a profile, and there'll only ever be one profile per user. It's really useful for building this kind of websites to have a one-to-one field, unless if you're doing something like a website where you could have one profile creating multiple websites. So I could build a profile, and today I could build this website, tomorrow I could have multiple properties and everything. And yes, you can still go both ways. You can say user.property. You can also go property.user. But the thing is, one user could have multiple properties or multiple websites. All right, so you could even filter on those kind of things. So there is a difference, but you will get used to it over time as you develop these kind of things. All right, so this is what I've done on the model. Then the next part of your homework that I asked you to do was to go and generate more of the prompts and the functions for creating all the different parts, because now that you've got the different parts, you can now create all the different functions. The return section 1 title and section 1 description, I had already done these ones. Okay, so I've done another function that says return 3 services. This function over here will now return us at least 3 service titles. Let me just double check. Return 3 service titles. Yes. So we'll do a call where we get these 3 titles, and after we got in the titles, we will then go and get the description per title. So it's this one here, the service descriptions. So I'll get the title, and then I'll get the description per title, and then I'll get section 3. It's also just a title. And so section 3 and actually section 1, I'm going to use the exact same function, or OpenAPI function, to get the same, to get that, because they're actually quite similar. And then for the features, I've got that return the features as well, the 3 feature titles, and then the feature descriptions. All right, then I've got the feature title and the description. So I've got all the different API function calls, and I tested them here on the playground. So when you started this video, you'll see I was here. I was just testing my prompts, and my prompts, by the way, they're not the only way to do this. I played around with this quite a bit, you know. And the thing with OpenAI is that you gotta figure out the prompts properly, and you can experiment with a couple of prompts until you get something that gives you what you want consistently. I think the key, especially with programmatic use of the API, is that you're going to need a consistent answer. For example, if now you're going to be generating 3 short punchy website feature titles, you want it to return it to you in a consistent manner. So every time you run this, I tested this with like 3 in letters, 3 in words, until I got something that gives me numbers and commas, so that when I separate these answers, I can separate them on a new line and separate what comes at the beginning of a new line or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So because when you get your response here, you're gonna be able, you're gonna need to get only this content part of it to use on the website. You understand? So it's important that you write this. More than anything, it's important that you write this prompt in a way that will always return a consistent answer. If, for example, you remove this 3 over here, right? And then you say generate short and punchy website feature titles for a business, right? And you did it like that. You'll see when you run this, every time it gives you something different. You know, this time it gives you 4. Next time it might give you not even with numbers. Next time it might give you something else. So I had to work around this, and that's part of building that prompt, is to get a consistent response every time, so that when you programmatically work with it, because when the program is not reading the responses, it's just gonna go and pass the response and put it in the template. So the response must be consistent every time. That's more important than even the quality of the response, the consistency of it. Because OpenAI is not always consistent, unless if you make it consistent. So now we've done all of this. This was your homework. So by now you should be catching up. If you missed that homework and you didn't follow along with us, again, like I said, feel free to pause this video at any time, go through what I've already written over here, and then rewrite it in your own code. Before you continue from here, you should have the exact same type of code that I've got. Okay, and once you've built your model and you've done your profile model, we will add on this profile model and increase it later on, because if only we have a one-to-one field with the user, there's actually no need to build a model, right? But I know that I'm gonna need a profile model over time. This is just from my experience, because over time, when I start to collect payments and I want to keep track of stuff like that, I'm gonna need a model to house all of those, you know, transactions and things like that. So that is why I've built it. But at this point, it only has a user variable. So you would think, oh, but why are you going to build a model with just one user variable? Then you actually don't need it. You could just use the user itself. I know that. But the reason why I'm doing it like this is I know that I'm going to add more things to this model later on, and I don't want to add all of those things at once and confuse you now. I'm going to add them as we need them. So at some point when we start to say, okay, fine, now what do we need to keep track of a user? What are those things? Maybe preferences, whatever. Then we need to put that into the profile class, and when that time comes, we're going to need a vehicle to allow us to do that. That's why I'm building the profile model. Okay, so the other thing that you need to remember doing is you need to add this into your admin file, admin.py, just admin site register these models. Of course, you can do more fancy things in here depending on how you want these things to show inside your admin file. But for now, I think this is sufficient. And then you also just have to remember to include this, but this we should have done already previously, is to include this application inside of the settings.py file under installed applications, right? You should have done this already if you did this with us last week. So I'm going to save all of this and I'm going to push all of these changes. All right. I had already pushed them before, but I made a change, so I have to push it again. And I have to make migrations. And you must remember, every time you build a new model, you need to rerun your migrations. So you need to run this function that says python manage.py make migrations. And this time I said make migrations website. Sometimes you have to be specific which app. It's not necessary, especially when you have multiple applications. But I've learned when I build the models the way I build them, and push them to a place where the Django is running. Sometimes Django doesn't pick up, where the new changes are. So sometimes I have to be specific. So that's why I'm doing it like that. And you'll see the only thing it's doing now is altering the field on profile. The field it's altering is this field over here, which I had a related foreign key, and now I changed it to one-to-one field. So it's just updating that alteration. But the first time I ran it, it created all these models because I created the models the first time. So when you run it with me, when you run it yourself, it will be creating these models. If you made changes based on what I've done, it will then make the alterations. However, let me warn you now, and if you get this error, I'm trying to help you not to get any errors. If you had built this model before and you have run migrations, right? Do not rename the models or adjust the variables in the models too much, because the moment you run migrations, Django actually takes all of this, what you've done, and it sort of creates, the sort of the structures inside of the SQL database that's required, and it stores all of this information, including the names and everything in there. But it's part of just how it runs. So you might be following along, and then maybe you named this something else. Maybe you named it service, and now you see I've named it website service, and then you want to rename it what I've named it. Okay, don't do that. If you've already run migrations, right, don't rename your models, and don't just maybe you can add more fields, you can edit fields, but especially if you haven't added data already. So as well, if you had already added some data to test some of the stuff, then don't even edit the fields, especially if you want to edit like the type of data in there, because those kind of things can break your database, right? So if you were like building this yourself and you're doing your homework, and maybe I should have warned you last week, was just before you run migrations, maybe check with what we've done so that we can all run migrations at the same time. Because once you run migrations, all of this structure gets saved in your database, and you want to make changes later. Those changes could break your database. But breaking your database is not a problem, by the way. You're gonna have this error that tells you, migrations, stuff is broken. I cannot find this, I cannot find that. Usually it's because you've broken your database, mostly because you've either renamed models or removed models, or just like done things that broke your database. Now, if you ever face that kind of a problem, and every Django developer has faced this problem many times, you haven't graduated as a Django developer if you haven't broken a database before, right? It's nothing to panic about, right? Especially when you're still in development mode. You can just delete that database and start from scratch. That is the easiest way to recover from a broken database, is just to delete it. Unfortunately, when you delete it, you're going to lose all the information. But when you are running development mode, it's not a problem. You're not losing any client data, okay? What you must never ever do is on a production site to tinker with your models and break a database by running migrations, changing models when you have a running production live website. Because then if you break a database in production, you're going to be having a different discussion. You're going to have to hire people like us to come and save you, and we don't charge little, okay? So for now, I'm warning you this, but maybe try and break a database, learn how to recover from it, spend a day on Stack Overflow, figure it out, and you will become a stronger developer, trust me, okay? But you will learn over time, and you'll start to get experience, and you'll learn what to do and what not to do. At this stage, in the development stage, honestly, it's not a hassle if you broke a database. Just go back to SQL, delete that database, okay? Recreate it, or just use a new database and go back to your settings.py and use a new database to connect to and delete the old one and get rid of it. That is normally what helps when you have broken a database, all right? Or sometimes you just have to clear your migrations, but that's more complicated. It's more for people that know what they're doing. If you just want to clear your migrations, because you have to clear your migrations here. You'll see there's a migration folder there. All right, you have to clear your migrations there, but your database also says the migration in the database itself. It actually creates a parallel table of migration, so you have to clear them there as well. That's what I'm saying. It's for more experienced people who know what they're doing. If you don't know how to clear migrations, you might just have to clear your whole database. But the nice thing about clearing migrations is you're probably going to be able to save your database, right, if you know what you're doing. But otherwise, I think that will be the end of that. And then after that, I'm just going to, after I've done manage.py make migrations, I'm just going to say manage.py migrate, right? And then everything is okay. Then I'm good to go, right? Now, if you look at all of my AI generator of functions over here, you'll see I'm collecting business do and business name, business do title. But this title is a title that's going to be generated from that function, you see? And I'm generating business do and title. Again, this title is the title that's generated from that other function, because this one generates the titles and then I use that title over here. I should be able to generate the entire website content with just two variables I'm going to ask the client for. I'm going to ask the client for what your business does and your business name. With the business name and what the business does, only these two variables, I should be able to generate this entire website content. I should be able to build all of this by just asking the client, what is your business name and what does your business do? So let's do that next, all right? Let us now, without worrying about the HTML and the CSS, for now we're just worrying about the functionality, because now I'm just teaching you about what the website actually does, all right? So if you recall, let me try and run this now. Run server. I think I want to run it on this, whatchamacallit. So let me go have a look at this, 146.72.10. So let's just run this. 146. There's nothing here. I mean, the last time we ran this, 146.72.10, what's happening here? Okay, I think I know what this is. Let me just run this. Okay, you have arrived home. So basically, you have arrived home. Is this index.html? You have arrived home, right? There's nothing here. You'll see it's just a blank HTML. So I'm not even going to worry about because you know I told you guys to get your environment elements, and I hope by now you've downloaded these two links, because we're gonna start using it now. At least I'll give you the homework for next week to prepare this, even if we don't do it now, because it might take quite a bit of time. But for now, I want to build the functionality without having done this, all right? I'm going to show you something. I want to create a form, all right? So actually, let's leave this here. Let's make some space, all right? Because we don't have CSS, we're going to be doing some fancy stuff. Let's create a div container. All right, and for this, I'm going to try and get a Bootstrap. So let's try and see, get a Bootstrap. Let's just get the most basic Bootstrap CDN. Where is it? I don't know how to download it. I don't know how to download this. What is it? I don't know how to download the source code. I want to get the CDN. All right, okay, so if you want to do a CDN, let's look at a simple quick start. Yeah, this is what I want. Right, so for the quick include Bootstrap, CSS, and JS. All right, so what you can do is that let's actually just goodness, what happened here now? Quick start. Right, CDN links, include that, and then you can include the pop. Okay, so let's copy this and let's paste that as it is. All right, so I think the title that I had here was "You Have Arrived Home." Let me change "Hello World." All right, and then this is a script that goes to the bottom of the page. And then they did say that if you want to include let's just include it anyway. If you want to do it separately, you could do it like that, but this one then includes everything. Then it's a whole bundle, and I don't need that. So what I want to do here is I want to now I can use like a container, right? So I could put all of this in a container, right? So I could say div container, and I could put that in there, remove that space. Let's add let's add a ruler there, right? And then let's put in a form. I just want to do like a quick form, and just a form that collects the two things I need to collect from the client. So I need the client to just give me two things. There's two things I need to get from the client to generate all the content I need to generate. The first thing that I need to get is, so I can close this now, I can close the URLs. The only thing I need to get is the business due. All right, so actually I'm writing this down somewhere else. I need to collect the business due, and then I need to collect the business name. So I need a form that allows me to do this. And I know I'm doing this very crudely, but don't worry about it for now. Obviously, I'm going to do a proper landing page. My landing page is going to look like this in the end. It's going to have a nice form to collect that information that entices people, that is highly convertive, all of that. Don't worry about that. We will integrate that as we go. For now, I want to do the functionality. I want to be able to show you collecting just the business name and what the business does, how we're going to build the engine in the background and put all of these calls to the API together in one place, that it fills in a model. It fills in this data model with all of this information, either saving it in the database or displaying it to the client immediately. But when it displays it to the client, it shouldn't display it just with the titles and whatever. We want to display it in this fashion. Ultimately, we want to display it in this landing page, right? But for now, we haven't built this yet. We just want to get the data. So let's build the form to collect that information. All right, so we're going to call it a form. The action, you just leave it as blank, and is a post. All right, it's a post form. With Django, you don't have to define the action. Actually, you don't even have to define the class. It will run it in the URL that it's running it for, but it's very important to define the method, whether it's a post or get. And then inside of this form, of course, we need the CSRF token. CSRF token. And then we need like two inputs. All right, so let's have a look at forms over here. So let me see, form. I said form. Forms. All right, I need an input group over there. There you go. Not that type of an input group. I need a where's the normal Django forms? Input groups, where are they? Yeah, checkbox and radio. Your vanity URL. Input group, there you go. So this one here, let me see over here. At username. Dish layout. Let's see that. Yeah, this is what I want, like a label and an input like that. Exactly. So this is okay, so I just want this div. All right, and let's put that in there. All right, and then we'll continue from there. So just go ahead and complete that form. So from what you've copied and pasted, what we need just for each and every single form field, a label and an input. So, and each label and input is wrapped inside of a div, and that div just has that MB3. That MB3 is for margin bottom. It just gives it a bit of spacing at the bottom so that there is space between this div and that div on the form. All right, so just add that div with MB3 and add a label. Class is form label, and I think there was an ID there. I just removed it. And then after that, put in the input. The input is a type text input, and the class should be form control, and then put in a placeholder for that. So the first element that we're going to enter is the name of the business. So we want them to enter the business name. So the label will say business name. So when they see they gotta enter the business name. And then for the placeholder, this is the text that appears inside of that input box as a placeholder so that they know as well what to enter in there. And then just add required at the end. What the required does is that the form cannot be submitted until this input is there. All right, that's important. We don't want someone to submit this form without entering their business name, so it will be compulsory. If someone clicks submit having not entered this business name, the form will just say, oh, please fill that in, you haven't completed. So it just sort of does a quick check to make sure they don't submit a blank form, for example. Now do the same thing for the business details. So you can just copy and paste that down, and then you can call the label business details. And remember this name here, business name and name business due. This is going to be the variable name that we're going to be able to pull out this variable from the server side on the request.post. All right, so make sure you use the correct variable name there and there. And then of course form control again, this is also required, and then you can enter your placeholder here. All right, and then I've just added a button at the bottom there. It should be a button type submit, and then you can just use btn primary. This is a primary button. It will be blue in color if you're using Bootstrap. And then the name is not really important. You can actually remove that if you want, or you can leave it there, it doesn't matter. And then you put this is a text that will appear on the button get website content. So somebody clicks this button, they've given us the business name and the business due, they get the website content. And just remember guys, we're just doing the data test model. We're just testing the functionality. We want to get the functionality of this content out, right? And then once you've done this, you can save all of this and push these changes. Okay, so I've already done this before. I've saved it, push the changes. Just do what you normally do to push the changes to the server where you're running this from, and then start the server over there, run server. And then once you've run server, you can go and have a look at your website. You'll see this is the label business name, and enter business name of the business is actually the you know what they call this placeholder text that we added there, the business details, and there's a content. So this is not how we're going to collect the information, but for now I just want to have a way to collect information and a way to see an output. All right, so once we collect this information, what we need to do is inside of the view function, so we need to go into the view. So you can see over the views over here, there's really nothing happening in here. Okay, so we're going to rewrite this view function to do what we need it to do. Okay, the first thing I need to put in there is the context, and maybe I can replace that with context. All right, context. All right, and then I want to use you know, if you do Django, you'll know there's many ways of doing Django views. You get what you call the function based views, you get your class based views. There are different ways of writing views in function. You can write the same view in many different ways. Ultimately it depends on your own preference and what works for you. And in my case, you know, I come from a Python Flask, you know, background, and I'm just used to writing function-based views in Python Flask. It just comes naturally to me. So I've just always ever used the function-based views in Django. It doesn't mean it's the best way to do it or the most efficient way either. I'm not trying to say that is the most efficient. It's just my preference. It's what I'm used to doing. So I always write my views in a function-based. I know you can write the same view in a class-based view. a bit faster with fewer lines of code. But like I said, it's just my preference over here. So now I've got my Django documentation over here. So I've got, and I'll link this in the description, but this is my Django documentation I follow all the time. And when I want to write the Django views, I've got them in here where I import my views and all sorts of things, so I'm actually going to copy the majority of this. I need to definitely get the models, the functions, and the messages. Yeah, forms most likely, but not yet. So let's copy these views here. Definitely the settings. I almost always use settings. So even if I don't use it now, I will want to use it later, and then I'll forget to import it. So I just want to check based on my application what I'm going to need from all of that. Okay. Then my views are going to be like that, get and post. All right, so that's cool. So I'm going to just look at the post. So I'm going to say if request.method is equals to post. This is when somebody submits the form. I want to now get that information, which is what we have down here. This collects the post information. So if somebody posts the form here, we know we've got there'll be two things that we must be able to get here. It will be the business name, and then the business due. I'm just going to name them the same variables as I'm getting on the other side, and this will be request.post. Okay, business name, and this will be request business due. So this business name that we're getting from the request.post should be the same name as what you have over here in the index. So whatever you called this name here is what you must use. So the request.post, and then it will be an object. So the request.post will be an object of everything that gets posted with this request. And we want that name part of that object, and that business name and business due. So that's basically how we can get the business name and business due out of this. All right. In fact, what I can do just at this point, normally when I do a form, and this is just out of habit, I like to sort of print what I'm getting in. I'd like to test the form, before I do anything else, I add any other functionality. I like to, and I like to just check that my form works fine, but it shouldn't be a problem anyway. But just in case you reach this point, because I don't like to write too much code, and then at the end when things doesn't work, I don't know where I missed the point. So it's just good practice to write code one step at a time. Well, I'm at least used to it, because I like to write it, test it, then I know up to this point it works, and then I do the next part. Up to this point it works, then I do the next part. So if something goes wrong, I know where to start looking for the problem, and at what point everything worked until, So you can also use that method if it's gonna work for you. Let me say test the form. All right, and then Coolio, and then yeah, let's push our changes again. And something is the problem dot functions, because I don't have anything called functions. I can solve it in two ways. Way number one is to actually create a file called functions, right? And it can be blank, just as long as it's there. All right, and then dot models. Okay, so I was getting that error because of that. All right, so let's push this again. You might ask, why do I have that dot functions? Especially if it's going to be empty. So this is just, again, from experience, this is just a habit. It's just a habit. And I usually always have, or most of the time I will have a a file called functions. But even though I don't have it now, I probably have it in future, so I'm just gonna keep it there to the point until I have it. So now the business name, we'll call this, what are we gonna call this? I don't know, let's call this Karabo. And Karabo is a medical practice. Okay, cool. So let's get website content. Nothing happens because it just refreshes, but I want to see in the background here that it printed the thing. Okay, so then I know that this works fine. All right, cool. So now that I've done that, I know that my form works. It there's no errors with CSRF issues and stuff like that. That's just what I was checking initially. Now I know I've got my variables here. I can now start calling these functions AI generator functions and start generating the content and build something with this, right? So I know I've tested this section 1 title. Let's actually test all of our functions so that we make sure that they're giving us the correct what they need to give us. So this might take a bit of time, but it's very important. So what we can do in here is that we can close this, we can clear this, and then we can run this manage.py shell, and then we can actually start and try and so this must be dot, not comma, manage.py shell. So we can actually start and run these functions over here and see what it would give us. For example, okay, let's try and get a title, let's try and get a description so that we can pass all the answers correctly so that we get the functions right. You know, I copied this from the last time I did this OpenAI function. I'm not sure that this parsing is exactly what it needs to be. So let's test all of these functions and see exactly what it gives us. So we're gonna test this with just one business do and business name. All right, so you can even write this down if you have a piece of paper so that you'll remember. Okay, let me type it here for you and then you can write it down. So you have business name and then you have business do. Okay, so the business name that we want to test this with can be, what did we say, Karabo? And the business do, what does your business do? So this is something we'll ask people to tell us more about your business. What exactly does your business do? So let's say, Karabo, it is an online artificial intelligence content generator. Right, it's an online artificial intelligence content generator. So I want to build a website for these two things, right? So and then I want to just test the kind of content it's going to give me, the titles and the so forth. So these are the functions I'll be running on the other side on the views, but I just want to make sure that it returns the right thing, because sometimes it will return things in the paragraphs. I mean, I just want to make sure I pass the text properly so that it gives me things in a proper manner. So for example, let's then copy this business name and put it in there. Let's copy that business do and copy it in there. Let's then say from a website dot. So now I want to import this function inside of my shell. So I must actually import it from the root of this folder structure because I'm running it from the manage.py location. So if I go to the root of this folder structure, you'll see the package name, or the folder name is called website. So I need to import it from website, and then the file inside of website is AI generator. Okay, so I can say from website.ai generator. Okay, so this is now this file that I have in here. I want to import, I actually want to import all the functions, okay? But I could import the functions one by one. I could say import this, for example, right? Import this function. I could do that, all right? And then it says, if choices and responses, there's an indent error. Let's have a look there. If choices and response, all right. So there's an indent error there. 1 2 3 4. Why is an indent error there? Let's delete this, make sure we make the right space. 1 2 3 4. It should be 4, so that should be okay. Let's do the same thing there. 1 2 3 4. Let's paste that. Let's delete that as well. And 1 2 3 4. Right, that should be okay. And then let's remove that. 1 2 3 4 and paste that. Okay, 1 2 3 4 and paste that. Same thing, delete there, and 1 2 3 4 and paste that. Okay, so make sure all the indents are right. That's the thing about Python, and that's the main difference between Python and JavaScript. If you're coming from a JavaScript development point of view, you have to get your indents right all the time in Python, because you don't have the curly braces and the the semicolons to sort of tell the code when a sentence is over, or when the new sentence begins. It works on the indents. It looks at the indent to see when the new sentence or paragraph or whatever it is, the new line of code begins. Okay, so it's important that you get them right. So let's push these changes again. Commit -m indent check. Let's push everything there. And all right, and then let's just clear this so that we make some space for us over there. And then I need to actually exit out of this, because I have to run this again, because now I've made some changes. I actually have to import everything again, otherwise it would it still imported the wrong thing. So let's then run the shell, and then after we run the shell, let's just try and import the thing first. So let's say from website.ai generator import. This time I'm just going to try and import everything and make sure that it will be able to import everything without an error. Good. So my indents are all fixed. It was able to import all the functions. Then I can create that business name function there, and then business do. What does my business do? Right. Okay, so now I need some space here. Let's try and push it here so that as it codes, you'll be able to see better what I'm coding here. Okay, cool. So now let's try and run this function here. Okay, I can just copy it as it is and run it over there. So it will run this function with that business do that I've entered in there, keeping in mind that the function has already been imported over there. So I want to see what results it will give me. Okay, so this section 1, this should give me the title, should give me a title of a website title with this with this kind of information, right? It takes a while. Smart content for your site. Smart content for your site. So my site is, my thing is a generator. That's cool. And you can see it has the new lines over here. So we actually have to find a way to remove the new lines. Okay, so that's a good thing to actually check this out. So we need to remove the new lines. All right, so what we can do here is that we can say let's actually create a variable in here, and I'm going to call this variable an answer, and then I'm going to say this answer is equals to that. All right, and then I'm going to say replace all the new lines, all right, with empty spaces. Okay, so that I can get rid of that. Okay, so then we can just return the answer, right? So now we're gonna get the text without any new line on it, so it'll be just a nice paragraph over there. So at least we know this will be cool. So let's do the section 1 description. Let's see what we get for that one. So let's paste that one over there. Let's wait for it. Cool. So this one as well, we might want to do the same thing and replace the new lines over here. So we might want to do the same thing there and say answer is equals to that, and replace return that. But I want to do something else, because if you remember last week we talked about this. We talked about splitting this on the first, you know, like I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So before we even get to the return, right? So answer list, right, is equals to, I want to take this answer over here and I want to split it by the full stop. So I want to create a list of sentences that are split at the full stop, right? And then I want to take the first two. So let's take this one and so if you look over here, I just want to see something here. If you look over there, you have, this is the first sentence. And you go over there and then comma, this is the second sentence. I want to take the first two sentences. Okay. Answer list is this one. And then return. So I want to create a sentence is equals to a string, and then I want to say for sentence in this answer list, for the sentence in this answer list, right? Sentence, right? I want to add, first of all, add an empty space, and then add the S. Okay, so it's just gonna concatenate it again, but we don't want to do this. We don't want to just add it again, because then it will just end up being the same sentence again. We want to like add only the first, the first two parts of it. And I think there's a short way to do it. I'm just trying to think from the top of my head. Yes, let's say we say 2. No, yeah, up to 2. I don't know if this is right. Okay, I'm gonna exit out of this so that I can clear and I can push everything to the top. Okay, so I'll say, then I'll run the same command again so we can run the same thing again. All right. So I want to create a sentence here. Actually, we can just do the same thing we did before. So we can say from website dot AI generator. All right, import everything. Then we can say business name is that, and business due is this. Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna assign this a variable, right? So I'm gonna call this X, right? I'm gonna assign this a variable. Then I'm gonna do what I'm doing here. The first thing is I'm going to try and replace all the new lines. All right, so I'm going to say x1 is equals to x dot, replace all the new lines. All right, and then we've got x1 now is a paragraph without the new lines. All right, and then I want to see the length the count. Okay, so count count x1. I want to see how many characters are in here. Is it count? Length of x1 is 192 words. That's actually not so bad. So I don't even need to do any of these things, actually. Yeah. Because I think when I was testing this on the, when I tested this in the playground, it used to give me like long 500 count words. So I think the API is much better. So that's fine. If it's 190 words, I'm not too worried. I can do with 192 words. We'll see if later on this becomes a problem. And then we'll have to find a way to cut it down to the first 2 sentences, what I was trying to do earlier on. But let's leave it for now. Let's say 192 words. That's okay for now. Right? So it returns the answer there. Okay, cool. So I want to return 3 services. Let's see. Let's see if we can return 3 services. There you go. So over here, you can see that we need to replace the new lines. That's for sure. So we definitely want to copy that and replace that. But we don't want to return it like that. We actually want to split it. Let's see. So, the thing that we don't know how many new lines are here before. So let's we could always split it at the commas. We could split it at the commas over here and discard everything there and take this, but then it will take the A1 and it will take the 2 with it as well if we take that. Because what we could do is that we could then say we could say answer list is equals to this answer. We could split it at the commas, at the full stops. But by then we know we've already replaced these new lines. So the first one will be the 1 dot, and then the 2 dot will be part of that, and then the 3 dot will be part of that. And but we know that we always have numbers. So, and then once we've done, actually, so what we can do here, we can also replace 1 with nothing. We can replace 2 with nothing, and we can replace 3 with nothing. So that we're only gonna get 3. So let's try and run this. So this return business due, this one, let's put a variable to this. Or what we can do is that we can just take this whole string and put it in a variable. Okay, so let's call it x is equals to this, right? And then let's take that x and do all of this and replace the new lines and the whatever. So let's say x1 is equals to that, is equals to x, replace all of these things. So let's start with the x first, x dot, right? And then let's have a look at x1. There you go. So you've replaced all the numbers and all the new lines. Okay, and then you're gonna take now that and create a list, right? So split by the commas. So you'll say, let's call this y is equals to x dot, split at the full stop. Let me put this up a little bit so you can see here. So let's see what y looks like. It will be a list now, and okay, no, x1, not x. So x1 is the one after you remove the new lines, right? So let's look at y now. Why now is there's a bit of a space here. Okay, there's gonna be a space in all of them at the beginning, but that's fine, we can fix that later. So now what we're looking for will be this, you know, that and that. We actually want this list to remove. So let's see, if we take Y, right, and we say we remove empty spaces, will that work? And then let's look at Y again. There you go. So removing empty spaces was removing that initial empty Y, and I hope that will always be the case, because this empty space Y was formed because of the new lines that were there before the one, and then after the one there was the dot. So the first dot, once you remove the Y and the new lines, although the dot is there, everything before the dot will now be empty spaces. So when we remove the empty spaces, so let's copy that, split at that. All right, so that's a new list. Answer split at the commas. There you go. Y is equals to that. And then we need to say answer list, remove empty spaces, and then we need to return answer list. Right? So you can see now we are parsing this. We are parsing that. Now we're returning only the list. And this list will now be a list of 3 items, which we can just then, you know, iterate through and get what we're looking for, right? So we've parsed that, I think, and I'm gonna copy the same parsing to be used here under the third function, the return 3 features. So over here I will use the same, because it's going to be exactly the same actually the way we've done that. And here with the service description, I'm actually going to replace it with this other one where we just remove the new lines. Okay, so here with the service description, this one over there, we just need that, you know, removing the new lines, and over there we need just the same thing. Okay, if I'm going a little bit too fast, pause the video, go back and have a look at it. But basically what we're doing now is we just want to refine our API calls so that we also pass our responses the way we want it, so that we can do something with it. Okay, so you can see now the only thing that I'm going to have to fix later is that there's an empty space at the beginning of my lists, and I'm going to have to figure out how to get rid of it. I'm sure we'll be able to. And maybe that's your homework, hey? Maybe that's something you figure out as well. But now I can save all of this, and now I'm happy. So now we can now section 1 title, section 1, so we can like build a, what I want to do now, the next step is to build an HTML. So where we have our HTMLs, where is it? Our template, our website template, you see this index? I'm gonna build a new file, and this new file I'm gonna call it website.html, right? And this website is going to look similar to our index, but not exactly. But we can start with our index for now and go to the website HTML. The only thing is we don't have everything inside of the container is blank. And let's just try and build this structure quickly, okay? So if we can build this structure quickly, like the, you know, this website structure of ours, you know, where you've got the landing page and so forth and so forth. Let's have a look at some Bootstrap layouts here. Examples, there you go. You see, you've got some Bootstrap layouts here. So let's try and see like this Jumbotron. You see this over here, you can put an image on over there, and it can cover the first part. So let's try and have a look at this in a new tab. So you see this whole section here. You could have that title there and that paragraph, and then the action button, and then you could have an image on this side, whatever image you're gonna add. I'm gonna build this eventually in the template that it needs to be in properly, right? But I want to do this step by step so I can just show you. For now, I just want to focus on the data that goes into the website. So I'm going to use this custom Jumbotron. I'm going to say view page source, and then I'm going to look for custom Jumbotron, and then I'm going to find it, and then I'm going to, there it is. Change the background. Let's see. Okay, so this is something else. Okay, so the Jumbotron seems like it just ends over here. Okay, container fluid, and then there is the titles and so forth. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this, right? And then I'm gonna, inside of this container, looks like I must put this outside of a container though. Yeah, because the container is this one, is where the, you know, and then this one is the title, this is the paragraph, and then this is the button. So let's call this button you know, take action. Take some action, right? And then this Jumbotron, we can put all of this inside of a column 6. So I could put all of this inside of a div row, and then I could have a div column LG6 and another column LG6. Okay, right, column LG6, and then we're gonna put our Jumbotron text in there, and then over here we can put like an image. All right, an image of anything. So let's have a look back at our Bootstrap and just search for can we search for so these are our examples there. These are our examples. I don't want to move away from this page, so I want to maybe open another page over here, because I want to search for you know, fluid image fluid responsive image. Yeah, so I want to create a fluid image. There it is. So I can paste that in here. This will be our Scholar Online image, and it's an image fluid, and then you're gonna give it a source. Okay, and I want to find an image that's sitting on the internet somewhere that is a I don't know, just where did we say we were gonna get our images last time? I think we said Pixabay. So if you go to Pixabay, let's find a nice image on Pixabay. Let's find an illustration of Pixabay. Even this lips, red lips, why not? Oh, this is better. Okay, cool. This is an illustration. I'm gonna download this, right? I don't need a very big version of this. 126 kilobytes is fine. I'm gonna download this. I'm gonna show you a nice nifty trick, and because from now on going forward, this is how we're gonna host our content, and this is now high grade stuff, and this website probably wouldn't be possible if you didn't have this ability to host your content like this. So inside of the video you're watching, okay, so if you go to, let's go to YouTube, let me show you the video that you're watching. Let's go to my channel, and let's go to the last video. So by now I would have uploaded this current video, so it will be the same video that you're watching right now. You go to show more, there's a button in there that says get a DigitalOcean droplet. Okay, so just click on that link over there. All right, when you click on that link, it will take you to a sign up page where you can sign in. The moment you sign up using this link that you would have seen down there, you're gonna get $100 new free credit for 60 days, which is 2 months, which is more than sufficient for you to test out this without paying a cent. All right, so you can literally sign up with my link and get this $100 free, and you're not gonna pay anything when you do that. But I'm gonna log in because I already have an account over here. Spaces, right, and create a space. And once you create a space over there, pick a location for your space, and pick this based on where you are located, but you might not be located in any one of these countries, so then pick anything that works for you. But whatever you pick here, you must put all of your stuff in the same space. So if you decide to pick Frankfurt, for example, then you must put everything in there. I like to work with Amsterdam, so everything must be there, because otherwise you're going to have latency speeds and all sorts of problems like that. And then CDN is a content delivery network. It allows for like 70% faster content delivery. You want to click this and enable it. Yes, I want to enable it, right? And then allow file listing, restrict file listing, that's okay. And then over here, you're going to give your space and name, okay? So I'm going to call this space of mine Karabo, right? Because my website, I'm going to call Karabo. All right, and then you can select a project over here. I'm going to put it in my Scholar Online projects, and that's it. So I want to check. The space is in Amsterdam, okay? I've selected CDN, okay, it's enabled. All right, I'm not using a custom subdomain, so it's fine. Allow file listing, restricted. I don't want people to be able to list the files in there. All right, and then finalize and create, pick a name for it and pick a project and then create a space. DigitalOcean charges you like $5 for a space. It's really cheap. All right, so the $100 credit you're gonna get from me will more than cover you playing around with this space and stuff. All right, now once you've done this, you've created a space over here. All right, a space is like an online location where you can do and save anything in there. All right, this space, I'm gonna create some folders in here. All right, I'm going to create a new folder. What's happening now? I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call this folder, website. I'm going to call this website after my app, right? And then I'm going to go inside my website folder. All right. You see here it says upload files. I'm going to find that file that I downloaded, which is called this one. Okay, I'm going to open it over here, and I'm going to call it landing page, right? And then I'm going to like upload this file. I'm going to go to downloads, and I'm going to find it there. And I'm going to make sure it's public, available publicly. It's a 5 kg. I've called it landing page, and I'm going to upload this file. So wait for it to upload. There it is. Now that I've got the file, so you can use this spaces as your like file hosting, free file hosting. So now I can just click over there, and I've got two URLs. You'll see there's an origin URL and an edge URL. The edge URL is a CDN URL. Okay, it's gonna serve your file via CDN. This one just serves it via the normal one. I like the CDN one because it will then serve it faster. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this URL over there, and then I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna paste the source of that image there. You see, so now this image can be loaded on my website, wherever my website is, right? So this is a good way of loading, of finding a place to host your images. And I know I've done videos in the past where I was showing you how to automate social media and Facebook and your Instagrams. They want you to have images already in a HTTPS location. This is the best way to do it. You just go get a space, pay $5, and you can put all your images in there, and then you can just serve the URLs. Okay, so now let's just test our Jumbotron. Okay, we're gonna add all the other features later, but let's just test our Jumbotron. So I've saved all of this. I'm gonna have to exit out of here, and then I'm gonna go over there and push my stuff. Actually, I can't serve this image until I serve it via a view function. All right, so I need to go to my views over here, and then I need to have another view function that serves that website.html. So I need to call this website, and then I don't have a post request, so this is just going to be website.html, right? And I need to serve this via the URLs as well. So I need to go to my URLs, and I need to have a path for website. So this path, we could call it website, and over here the view function is website, and the name will be website. Okay, it doesn't matter. The only important thing is that this view function must be exactly the same as that view function over there, and that this HTML must be the same as that HTML, and that it's inside that website folder.html. Then we'll be able to access it. Now we can push the changes. right? See our website, git push. Cool. When we get over here, let's run this. Let's run server. When we run server, let's go back to our thingy. If we just restart this, we'll see nothing here. But if we go to website, all right, we will see it. So this is the Jumbotron, and that's the image. Okay, so that's the image. So it still took a while to load, but I think maybe it's because it's the first time it's loading. So you can see over here, this is so now we're going to replace this custom Jumbotron and all of this with the AI generated content for now. All right, so let's build up the rest of the website. Okay, so we've got the Jumbotron done. We need these features, these ones, these features, these ones. Okay, let's open this in a new tab. Feature title, let's see, with icons, with images. I think I want this one here. So let's look at the page source, view page source. Let me just have a look again. What's, column with icons. Okay, so I need this whole column with icons. So find column with icons. There you go. Feature column, there it is. Row. Okay, there's a row first, and this is the border bottom. It's a heading with a border bottom, but there's a container. So let's get the whole container here actually. Okay, let's get the whole container. Let's go back to our website HTML. Right, so this is the first so let's make some space. So this is the first container, right? Let's just make some space so that we can remember what's what. So this is our second container, and if I look at this div over there, that's the opening and closing. I don't want this header with a title. All right, I don't know that I need an ID though. I'll remove that. All right, and then you've got your feature title. So let's have a look there. Feature title, and then there's a call to action. So this call to action link we're not going to use, so let's just remove that. Same over there, and then we've got our 3 features, right? So we've got our original header, and then we've got our 3 features. All right, and then there is also another section which is like a header. I mean, if you look at our website content story or notes, sorry, my head is all over the place now. You'll see we've got this, and then we've got that. The only difference is that the design is slightly different. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to copy this, right, and I'm going to paste it there. Maybe I use a different image. All right, so let's see if we can find a different image on let's look for a different image on Pixabay. Let's look for similar illustrations. There you go. There's a different one. Is it a no. So this is not a free image. This is iStock. How did I click on an advert? Oh, it's written iStock there. Ugh. Related images, that's what we want. Related images, not. Or maybe let's just search for this again, and we'll find something else. Okay, we got that already. Let's find something new. Maybe a horse, a cat, a bird. Yeah, this looks similar to what we did before. Right, let's download this. Download about the same size. Download. I'm not a bot. Okay, right, so we'll do the exact same thing we did before. We just need to open this one, and then we'll call this actually we don't need to open the whole image. We need to open the download folder, so we can rename this image landing page 2. This is a JPG, both of them. Okay, so that's fine. Then we go to our thing and we upload it as well, landing page 2, and make it public, right? Upload the file, and then once it's done uploading, we can go there and we can check that URL, the edge URL. You can copy that URL, and then so you'll see that's the first one, this is the second one, landing page 2. So you can just remove that URL there and paste the second one. All right, and then that will be the next Jumbotron. So now we've got if I look at my notes, I have this section done, I've got this section done, I've got this section done, and then I'm just gonna do one feature maybe. Okay, one feature. So let's see if there's something that can do that here. Just maybe something like that. Centered hero, how about that? Remember, I'm gonna get 3 features anyway. How about something? No, not that. Let me use this centered hero. I want to see this. What's over there? Yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. You see, you've got the 3 images there, that image, and that image, and all the 3 different features. Yes, this is exactly what I want. Okay, so view page source and go back here, first feature heading. Oh yeah, that's good, see for yourself. So let's start with this. Let's just search for that, copy that, and search for that. Why can't I find it over there? Heading. Oh yeah, because of the text muted and everything. Okay, so feature rate divider, start the feature rates. Okay, so there's a feature rate divider like a ruler over here. I see it. Will we need a ruler? I don't think so. If I look at what we've built, I don't know that we'll need a ruler, but maybe let's just copy it. We can delete it if we don't want it. And then there's that row and that and it's not inside of a container. Oh, it is inside of, everything is inside of a container. All right, so this is the first, second, and the third feature rate divider, and then there's another divider at the end. Okay, cool. Let's copy everything with the dividers included, right? And so let's go down here and paste. Let's put it inside of a container, right? And then paste all of these in there. And then I'm trying to highlight to make some space over here. Okay, tab. All right, so you'll see we've got like the first feature rate there, we've got the second one, and then we've got the third one, and then these images here, it's okay. I'm gonna leave these images as they are. They're not actual images, they are just blank 500 times 500. Later on we'll get the appropriate images for these. All right, or maybe we can do it now, should we? I don't know, let's see. Even if we use the same one, let's see if we can get anything from the illustrations here. So close that and go into the illustrations and see if we can get anything. The cat, we got the bird, we got the dog. I like these glass illustrations, hey? The cat. Should we use the cat? Let's use the cat. And we'll use the same cat in 3 places, okay? That's fine. Free download. Let's download that size. Download that image. And then let us rename it to landing page 3. Right, and then let us upload it over here. Landing page 3, that's quite big, hey? 434 kilobytes, that's huge. Let's actually download a smaller size. Pixabay, no, that's huge. Let's download a way smaller size. Okay, so if I go over there, let me delete that landing page 3, move to bin, and rename this landing page 3. Let's see how big it is. 182 kilobytes is better. It's still big, but it's better. It's better than that 300. Okay, so let's then upload it. Yeah, 182. It's still big, so I might want to compress it later on. I'll compress it, but for now, for the illustration of what I'm trying to show you, that's okay. I'm going to set it as public, and then wait for it to upload. When you do website images, ideally you really want less than 100 kilobytes per image. All right, it will load faster with CDN, but it always helps to have the image as small as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find everywhere where this is, find, which is 3 of them, and I'm just finding, I'm going to do find and replace all, so it will replace all of those images with that. Okay, so let's save this and have a look at our new website now. Okay, take a look. Coolio, let's run this, restart this. Right, and then if we go to our website that we're building over here, we're now on website. Yeah, this is gonna take a while because of all the illustration it must load, but you can see there you've got your the first jumbotron, you've got the features, the titles, and then the second one with a bird, and then you've got these ones here. Why is it doing that? Okay, all right, okay. Also, this is SVG, that's the problem. Okay, so what I need to do is this image, I need to replace this whole SVG. I didn't notice that. I'm not paying attention. Okay, I need to replace this entire SVG with the landing page 3, right? So if I copy this whole thing, copy, I need to replace this whole thing with that, and I need to replace this whole thing with that. Okay, cool. Right. All right, so once we've done that, let's go back here, let's restart this server again, and suddenly you should be seeing now your SVGs. Nope. Is this what it was called? Landing page. Okay, landing page. Okay, so this is just landing page. That's all right. So I'm the one who misspelled it, but since I've decided to misspell it, I will just leave it as misspelled as it is instead of trying to fix the spelling, which I could, but I'm just going to leave it like that. All right, so let's try this again. Cool. So now when we get here now, there it is. So we're going to push. No, not here. Ugh, not there. I'm trying to restart this one. There we go. So now we've got the cat, and whatever. Okay, so don't let the animals and the cats distract you. Okay, so maybe even here we might have wanted to start the other way around. Okay, but it's fine, doesn't matter. So now we have got the website structure built without any design. Okay, this is like the basic Bootstrap. Okay, and I did this for a purpose, for a reason, because I want you to focus on the code itself. All right, so now you can see you've got your so I've taken our model, which is, you know, the titles and everything, you know, the titles, the descriptions, all of this, the way we built it based on our nodes over here, and I've put together a website structure like that. So all I need to do now is to replace this content with AI generated content. So somebody must start, a user must start on this page and enter their business name and their business details, and when they click create website content, it must load that second page, but it must load it with whatever the content was generated in the first page, with the content generated from here. Okay, and we can do that now. So we're going to do that quickly, and then next week what we're going to do then is now take that from this basic template of a website, like this basic website template, from this basic website template, and build you know, something else. So now I'm going to duplicate this URL, this thing. I'm going to call it AI website. Okay, so that I have two different websites. All right, so if we look at it now, the first thing is this custom jumbotron, which comes over here. This is let's see, let's look at our models. This is website dot section 1 title. So what we're going to do is that we're going to create a new website class. Do you want to create a new website class? Let's say someone, you know, no, we'll do that later. So let's just call this a section 1 title without creating a new website class. Okay, and then let's call this section 1 description. So this whole section over here will be section 1 description. Okay, boom. Take some action, we'll leave it at that. All right, so this is now the services. All right, so the services, what are they called? Service title and description. Okay, so let's name it as such. Service title and service 1 description. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing for 2 and 3. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing for here. Service 2 title and service 2 description, and we're going to do the same thing for this one, and we're going to call it service 3 title, service 3 description. Okay, and then here we're going to call this if I look at my model, what is it? The third one is section 3 title and section 3 description. Okay, so this one is now section 3 title, and the description of it is section 3 description. All right, so let's close that up. Section 3 description, and take some actions. Okay, we're gonna leave the images for now, we'll get to that later. All right, so now we're just gonna focus on the content. So the features, all right, I'm not gonna even do the sex muted, I'm just gonna have everything in a title. All right, so we will do the same thing that we had over there, which was like the service 1 title. Instead we'll call it features 1 title. So let's do that there. So this is not service, this is features. Okay, features 1 title, and then features 1 description. Okay, which is this one over there. All right, close features 1 description. I remember I even wanted to reverse this, so I wanted this to come first and then this to come next. All right, so that the image will be there, and then yeah, just wait, let me see what I wanted to do. I wanted the image to come first. Yeah. So I wanted over here to, when we get back to this is column 6, section 3, title, section whatever. Yeah, so I wanted the image to come second. Okay, so this is the image second, so it's that, and then the image, and then what's happening here? Okay, so I wanted the image to come second, but then here I've, oh goodness, what am I doing here? I'm confusing myself. So this one image comes second, so what I want to do here is that I want the image to come first, but it looks like in all the cases the image comes last. Why is that? All right, so let me just not bother, we will fix that later. All right, so features 1 description, let's just copy that and paste that in there. Right, so this is features 1 title, features 1 description, features 2 title, features 2 description. And then the last one is same thing, features 3 title and features 3 description. Okay, so now we've replaced the website content with actual variables that we're going to send into the context from the function. So what we are going to be doing is that inside of the view function, we're going to use this business do and business name, call the API, generate this content from the API, send this content into the context, and have the AI website display the content that comes from the AI generator as opposed to, like physical content. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we're going to do. So now we've got all these variables figured out. I need to know what they all are. So let's do this one. Features 1 title, features up to 3. Let's paste that inside of the views over here. So this is features 1 and features 1 description. All right, and then you've got all of these up to 2 and 3. 2 and 3. Okay, so this is then 2, and this is 2, and then that's 3, and then that's 3. Okay, so that's the third part of the website over here. This is this content sorted out, and then what comes over here is this section 3 title and section 3 description. So let's put that comes a little bit ahead of this. Okay, and this is section 3 description. Right, and then the next part is this service 1 title, description up to 3. So let's just make space for that. Service 1 title, service 1 description. Right, and then let's copy this 3 times, 2 and 3. So this is 2, this is 2, that's 3 and 3. Okay, and then the last bit is just this section 1 title and section 1 description. Right, so section 1 title, section 1. Right, so we should be able to, what we're trying to do is now generate all these variables and add them into the context. Okay, so the section 1 title, how do we get this? If we look at our AI generator, this one returns the title exactly. Okay, so if we actually just write this function here, return business section 1 title, it's going to return that. So if we go back into the thingy and paste that, return section 1 title with business do, it's going to return it. And then let's try and see the one which needs to return the description. AI generator, it's this one over there. Return section 1 description, it does return that. Okay, so I'm gonna paste that in here. All right, and return that. Wait, let's just put the whole thing, because it must must including all the variables that need to go into that function. Okay, so the rest, let's just put in some fake text, because I want to just test this function with some fake text for now. All right, so I'm gonna say I'm gonna generate some fake content over here. All right, then I'm gonna just try, and actually I don't need all of this. This is a long paragraph. Let's see, just a little bit of this, maybe up to there. Okay, otherwise this is too long. So let's go in there, and so let's go back into our views and say, for these other descriptions, I'm just going to enter this fake content for the descriptions, right? Enter that fake content there, enter the same fake content over there, right? And for all the descriptions, enter the same fake content. And then what I want to do here is I want a shorter content. Okay, so let's do that. Let's put like a big C and a big A, because this is like a title, and a big E. So let's copy that instead and paste that in there. Paste that in there. I'm gonna give you some homework today. You already know what that homework is going to be, right? Yes. So now I'm using the AI generator to generate for me the section 1 title and section 1 description, which is what's going to fit in this part of the website, right? So this will now be AI generated content, but the rest of it will be the fake text that I'm doing here. But your homework will now be to go and do the same for all of these, because now we've written the functions in here. We now have the functions inside of the AI. We now have all of these functions. You can just do the exact same thing we're doing here, but it might be tricky in some places where you need the title to generate, because for example, if you look over here, the AI generator.py, if you look over here, here we generate the service titles. Once we have the titles, we need this title to generate the description. So you need that title to generate the description. So that is going to be the only tricky part about this homework. The rest of it is going to be pretty simple. And then once you've done all of that, we need to add this into the context. All right, so we need to add this into the context. So we're going to do that very easily by just retyping this as it should fit into like an object. So we are adding this into the context object. So it'll take a while, but you can type along as I type along. It's going to just take as quick as it takes me to take you to do the same thing. So let's do that. All right. Let's do that. Let's do all of this over here. There we go. So what we need is just to type context in front of all of this, right? So that it's going into the context object. It's going into the context object, and it's going to be called that variable in there. All right, and then okay, and after we've done that, we need to then we don't need to display this. We don't render the same website. We need to actually render the different HTML. So it's inside of the website folder, but it's called AI website.html. So we need to render AI website.html. So that HTML, when we render, then the context will make sense. All right. So yeah, let's test this out. So we start on the home page. All right, and if you don't do a post request, it's not going to go through all of this. It's just going to skip this and render this index.html. But if you do a post request, then it will go through here, and it will take whatever the business name and the business do that you give it. Then it will run these two functions, which we need to import at the top. So from the top there, we need to say from AI generator.py. So from AI generator. From AI generator, which is this file over here, import everything. So if you now import this, then these two functions will now be defined because you've imported them over there from AI generator file. And then you can run them, and then it'll give you those two answers, and then we will get the same exact website, except these two, only this and this will be filled in with the AI content. The rest will still be the fake content, but that's your homework to do the rest later on. Okay, so let's test this. Right, so now we've got that running. We're gonna start this again, this server. Let's restart the server. All right, so now the server is starting. We need to start it on the home page, right? So if we start it on the home page, let's see. So let's say let's enter a business name here, Karabo, and then it's an artificial intelligence content generator, artificial intelligence content generator engine. Right, that's the name of the business. That's what it does. Let's see what content it will generate for us. It's gonna take a while now because you know the AI runs slowly. Oh, it wasn't that slow. Okay. Artificial intelligence content generator engine. Whoa, Karabo is an artificial intelligence generator engine that helps business create high quality content quickly, easily. With Karabo, you create articles, blog posts, web pages, and more in minutes without having to hire a team. This is all AI content, right? Now all you have to do is do the same for all of these. Now it's all the fake stuff. You can see it's all the fake stuff that I put in there. It's all the fake stuff. You must go and do the rest. But now we've got the basics of our website generator builder going, and the only thing we need from people are 2 sentences. How many people are out there that are so lazy that can string up 2 words, but they want to build a whole website, and we can build a website for them? We're going to take it even a step further and get images that go with it, and we'll see. You know, you'll see I was playing around with the AI, and maybe we'll try that next week. Okay, so if you go to OpenAI, I'm going to get you guys excited about this project now. If you go to OpenAI, there's this DALL-E, D-A-L-L-E, right? And this is an AI engine that generates images automatically. Like it will generate images. And I don't know if you can get this via the API for now. You know, I need to find that out because I was able to generate some images, but on their thing, you know, like first of all, you need to be registered, you know, so you need to like go through you know, some process, like how OpenAI used to be before, where you had to like apply and be on the waiting list. But I wasn't on the waiting list for even more than a week. I think it was like less than a week. I was already accepted, and I was given an email was sent to me that I could learn this. So I was thinking, wouldn't this be cool if we could generate the images artificially as well? But the only thing I need to find out is if you can do this via the API. But I think they don't allow you to, because they actually give you the image and you download it, you know, and you have to physically be on their site to do it. But I don't know, it would be really cool if you could do the image also via the API as well, because then you could then like do a whole lot with it, right? But for now, maybe we will not do this. We will just get our own images, but we'll find images that fit certain websites, so that when somebody wants to build like we'll try and sense what they're trying to build and get the appropriate image for them. But that will not be AI. That will just be like normal programming, but the content itself will be AI content, right? Wouldn't that be amazing? That would be really, really amazing. Or we can even give people the option to enter their own images if they want, you know. So we'll do all of that. So now guys, thanks for watching. I think I'm gonna leave it here because the video is getting a bit long, but we've gotten it to a very comfortable place. Next week we will finish up the rest of the content, and then we will have a basic content generator website without any basic fancy HTML. Then we're gonna take it from here and integrate an HTML frame, like an HTML a template like this one. But to generate the template is not even programming. I mean, it's not Django. That's just like the background of it. The majority of the hard work will be done as soon as we are able to get the content. From the content, we do the rest of the website, and then we're gonna work around how to get the right images, and then how to have, like, at the end, when you're done with this, there's a button there that says download this website, and you can download somebody their HTML, and boom, they pay you for it or whatever. That would be really cool, right? So we'll do that, guys, next week. All right, so thank you guys for watching. See you next week.